Okay, so we ended the last class with this discussion where we are looking for a transformation done to a continuous time signal through digital signal processing. Okay, so this is the input signal on which the transformation is done. A continuous time signal could be a naturally occurring signal like speech, like ECG, like heart sound, like any naturally, say, temperature profile of a particular place or a particular plant or particular location in the plant in the furnace or other things. And you are doing some signal processing by which you are extracting some information, useful information, or removing some unwanted information also, and you are getting back the time domain signal, continuous time signal. Now this you could have done through a continuous time or analog signal processing block, and then between this continuous time signal and these input and output, you would be having a specific relationship. These relationships using continuous time signal processing or hardware component, you are getting it done by digital signal processing related hardware components. Okay, because of the advantages that are there with digital signal processing or digital electronics that you have studied before. Now, what is the equivalence between these two? So this is what we had seen in the last class. So this continuous to digital conversion, we know discrete time system to which input is xn, output is yn, and this input and output are connected by h e to the power j omega. Discrete to continuous converter that we know, it consists of two blocks. One is a pulse train generator, this yn, it will be now placed t interval apart, this t interval apart, and then an ideal low pass filter. Finally, you are getting continuous time signal. So if that is the case, then this recovered or reconstructed signal after the last block reconstruction filter that you are having is related to the input signal like this, because of which the overall this DSP block, its continuous time equivalent is this particular expression. It is nothing but whatever you have, this h e to the power j omega, omega replaced by capital omega, that is continuous time frequency, capital T is the sampling period, and this is just following it. This is repetitive in nature. So this is for only one period, and rest of the places it is 0. So this is we discussed, derived in the previous class. Now we look at few examples. The first example that we see is what you can find out. We have a continuous time signal. So this is the continuous time signal. Whenever you are sampling it, the sampled version XST, that would be a repetitive version of this, which is Fs apart or omega s apart, and it is scaled down by 1 upon T. So this we have known from sampling theorem, sampling related study that we have done. Now what we do over here, we have selected an h e to the power j omega, which could have been anything else. I mean, this is just one specific example. We could have a different h e to the power j omega. Story will be the same. Now this h e to the power j omega is a low pass filter which is passing all the signal up to omega c and attenuating every other signal beyond omega c. Okay. So this particular output will be a filtered version of xn. Now this is the sampled version xs. Now when it is converted to sequence and stored in the memory, it is just sequence of numbers. The concept of time is gone. So now you go to omega domain. Omega, small omega, that is capital omega into t. Time is consumed. Okay, because now it is all sequence of numbers. And this is the 2 pi is the repetition, after which every 2 pi interval there is a repetition. So this is your xn, and over and above it you are having this h e to the power j omega laid. Of course, h e to the power j omega will be also periodic, and this is that has been shown. So at the output of it, the yn that you get would be something like this. Okay, we are talking about ideal filter, so it looks something like this. If it is not ideal, it will look something different, that we shall take up later. Now after that, what happens? You are over here. Now discrete to continuous conversion. So these numbers now converted to pulse train. So each of these values are placed t time apart and passed to a low pass filter, which is fs by 2, whatever is the original, the cutoff frequency. So that is what you see. So this is the one that will be truncated out, and you will be having at the output signal which will look like this. So you started with this one and you ended with this one. Okay. Anyone has any question on this? Please feel free to ask at this point of time. Then we shall go to another example. Is it fine? Can I get an audio response? Also, I would ask you to look at the x ticks and y ticks. This omega, what are these values? Pi by t, omega n t, then omega c by t. You might get in class test, or I mean in any test, where we might ask you that pictorially describe what happens in a case like this, right? But we might give you a different kind of h to the power j omega, and then you know the overall concept. You will be doing the drawing properly, but if you are not attentive, you might falter on discounts. That this sticks, this labeling of omega, capital omega axis, small omega axis, you will be missing some points. Okay, so be careful about that, right? And since this is 1 upon t, so this is multiplied by this is t, so this we have already discussed before, so you all know that. So this t that we discussed before. Is there any question, or can we go to the next example then? Can I get an audio response that this is fine? Anyone please confirm?
Yes, sir.
Right. So I am having XCT. This is the input signal, and I am getting a reconstructed signal YRT, final output of this system, where h to the power j omega is defined by this. Then if this is my input, then the output will be like this. Okay, good. So that was an example where you have a system in place, discrete time system, low pass filter, and you are looking at what is happening to the effective, overall effective j omega, H E F, effective j omega for the input output relationship. Now we look at another example where we are looking for a system in the continuous time domain which is performing differentiation of the input signal. Okay, so output signal is a differentiated version, derivative of the input signal. So this is what we desire. Now, what should be my discrete time system? What should be my discrete time system so that I can achieve it? Because I want to achieve this not by analog signal processing hardware, analog signal processing or following analog signal processing theory. We would like to achieve it by digital signal processing blocks, digital signal processing theory. Okay. So this is what is we are desiring. Okay. Now when we do differentiation, so this is what we are looking at, and the corresponding frequency domain representation is this. Is it okay? If you are doing differentiation in time domain, the corresponding the frequency domain representation is this Fourier transform, where HC j omega is YC j omega by XC j omega. How is it happening? Can somebody tell me? This is what is desired, and then its corresponding desired frequency response is this, where HC j omega is YC j omega, its Fourier transform, the ratio of that. Can somebody tell me?
So the differentiation law of continuous time Fourier transform is used.
And then that e to the power j omega, etc., that is bringing the j omega over here. Is that the one?
Yes, sir. When we differentiate the
With t,
formula,
the
we get
constant
a
terms. Right. So that step is not shown here. It is assumed that you either know or you can quickly work it out. So this is your desired. Okay. So whatever is desired, since you are realizing it using DSP, so the effective j omega, H effective j omega then has to be this one within the this zone, this pi by t minus pi by t to plus pi by t. Within this zone, it should follow this j omega. Okay. So in omega domain, this small omega and capital omega, because you are using a sampler for the input signal sampled and then doing some processing and getting back this YCT, the sampling period is t, then this h to the power j omega will be j omega by capital T. Okay. So if this is the case, then what you are looking at having an realizing an h to the power j omega, which has got a magnitude response like this and phase response like this. Magnitude response is understandable. It is increasing linearly, increasing with frequency, and then because of the repetition minus pi by 2 plus pi, okay, after that there is this symmetrical, it is coming down. So only this part is what is mattering, what matters. Now what about this phase? Why it is like this? Can some of you tell me? This part is understood, and what is this part? The phase response, this is pi by 2 and this is minus pi by 2. What does it mean?
So that is corresponding to the J, the complex number J, which has plus 90 and minus 90.
Why minus 90? J is plus 90, no? I mean, then why this side is minus 90?
So for
Yes.
So that is due to the negative omega.
Ah, great. Very good. This will be required in the next part of the discussion when you realize it. Very good. Who answered that? The voice that came negative omega?
Sir Kaushiki.
Kaushiki. Very good, Kaushiki. It is because of the negative omega. Okay, this side. So this is shown as minus pi by 2. Okay. Now, when you are integrating it, okay, so I'm not going into that, and it is left to you that how to do it, but it is done by integration by parts. Then if this is your h to the power j omega, then corresponding hn is like this, okay, and that turns out to be 0 for n is equal to 0. And cos pi n by nt for n not equal to 0. This particular relationship turns out to be this. Okay. So having known hn, move to the next. So we have got an understanding of it, and we know what is h to the power j omega. Now we look at this particular system that you want to realize. You have to look at hn like this. Of course, it is up to infinity, and also you will not get anything up to infinity, so there will be truncation, there will be issues because of that. Not ideal also, but assuming that you are able to get as many, I mean, very large such values of n generated by some means, okay, and you have got an ideal such thing developed, then how it is doing the differentiation. Let us look at an example of this. So your xct, the input signal, assume that it is cos omega t. So cos capital omega not t. So capital omega because it is in continuous time domain, right? And of course you are assuring that whatever sampling that you will be doing, so it is below the Nyquist rate. Okay, so your t is above, t is sufficiently small, right? Then after sampling, okay, so you have got this x e to the power j omega t from whatever you have discussed before, represented in this manner. Okay. And the corresponding x e to the power j omega, where del omega by t can be written as t del omega, this relationship can be invoked, and you can write this as pi del omega minus omega naught plus pi del omega plus omega naught. Okay. Because capital omega is small omega by t. So there you can use this relationship, and this is the x e to the power j omega you will get within mod omega less than equal to pi. So that is the the central thing. After that there is a repetition for x e to the power j omega. So this is your x e to the power j omega, and your y e to the power j omega will be h to the power j omega multiplied by x e to the power j omega. And you have realized this h to the power j omega by t, right? Of course, with an hn which is as large as possible, and you are assuming that it is ideal, truncation part can be taken up later. So this j omega by t that you see over here, for within that mod omega less than pi, is placed here and multiplied with x to the power j omega. Now when you do that, from here, can you tell how are you coming to this step, from this step to this step? Because this is del omega minus omega naught, so this is existing only for omega is equal to omega naught, so that's why this omega naught is there, right? This omega naught is there, right? For other omega it is not valid, and there is a negative sign. This was plus here and this is minus here. What is the reason other than Kaushiki?
So it is coming at minus omega naught.
Minus omega. So again, because of that, this omega, when you substitute as omega naught, it is minus omega naught. Okay, because it is in the negative side. So that's why that omega naught minus of omega naught minus is consumed here, omega naught is coming here. Great. Okay. So that is y e to the power j omega that you have got. So y e to the power j omega, this is what you have got over here. Okay. Next comes the reconstruction filter. Okay. So the reconstruction filter is what you have seen before. Okay. So this reconstruction filter, so it is just multiplied by t within that pi by t. Okay. And conversion to omega naught. Right. So from here we go to the next step. Small omega to capital omega we are moving. So this capital T comes from reconstruction filter. So you come over here, just cancelling the T's and then this one, if you now look at, is what? It's corresponding, if this is the frequency domain representation, the corresponding time domain representation is this. And if you put them together, it is minus capital omega naught, that is analog frequency sine omega naught t, capital omega naught t. Okay. So this is what you wanted to have, and this is the example that we have taken up. So we are getting sinusoidal signal differentiated and obtained as sinusoidal signal. And for that, the DSP block, that you need to employ, other than the continuous to digital, digital to continuous converter that we have considered and assumed the ideality part of it. Okay, so this discrete time system should have an impulse response which is like this. If you are able to do that, and as best as you can do, it will be as good a differentiator as possible. Is this understood? If you have any question, please ask.
Sir, in this case, the sample response is not causal.
What do you mean? Sample response is not causal.
Sir, HN is not causal, right?
Yeah, you will be shifting it to the right. So this is I do not know whether you have discussed it or not. If in some such cases, we always shift it to the right and allow it some delay. So this output sine omega naught t will be a delayed version of cos omega naught t. It will be differentiated but delayed. How much you shift it to the right? How much you shift it to the right? So it is centered around 0, right? So it is happening for every other responses. In any low pass filter design, high pass filter design also, you'll be shifting it to the right. So whatever the value of n by which or n naught you shift, the output and input will be delayed by that much amount. Do you get my point?
Yes, sir, got it.
Okay. So otherwise, of course, as you said, so all such systems that you are getting by inverse, DTFT or so, will be having a n is equal to n minus n is equal to -1, -2, those values. Okay. For realizable filter, you have to shift it to the right, and of course there will be truncation and all, for which there will be issues, but as long as it is within limit, we can go ahead. Okay. Now we look at another aspect of it. I mean, having understood that this digital signal processing or DSP system can be used for implementation of continuous time system also, with all the benefits of digital signal processing hardware, that is the general purpose hardware that you can use, the repeatability part of it, noise immunity part of it, all those things. But of course, the limitations that also you have noted, certain kind of limitations are there. We look at a little bit more into the some theoretical background. Okay. Now, consider that, so what we discuss now is called impulse invariance. So here we are trying to look at a continuous time system that we want to implement or mimic or realize in discrete time domain using DSP hardware. So if this is HCT and this is the other one is HN. Okay. The goal is, with all these blocks, etc., the overall block will be like what HCT would have done through convolution to XCT to generate YCT. So that is the goal, right? So how these HCT and HN related? And the discussion that we have, we shall find that there is something called impulse invariance that could be one way of, that could be the approach by which we can achieve this equivalence. Okay. So this is the system. So if you give delta t at its input, the output will be HCT. Okay. And of course, we are looking at this HCT corresponding continuous time frequency response that is there for this system. Okay, is band limited. Okay, so band limited means if it is more than the whatever sampling frequency we are going to use in future for the equivalent DSP system, there is no frequency component existing beyond that half of that sampling frequency, 580. Okay. So that is the assumption. Sorry. Okay. So this block we have already seen, right? And this particular block has got HN effective j omega as HC j omega. Now what we are looking at for this particular block, the block that is coming in between, if I give del n as input, Hn will be the output, and the relationship over here is h e to the power j omega. So this HC j omega and h e to the power j omega, how they are related to each other. Okay. Now from theory, we have already noted before. Okay, if some of you have forgotten, just refer back to that part of the theory where we discussed sampling. So this is the relationship we had arrived at, we had understood it. So if a continuous time signal xc is sampled at time interval t, right, to generate samples in t, n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, this integer value, and they are represented as xn, then corresponding dtft x to the power j omega can be written in this manner. Okay. So this omega by t, okay, this is 2 pi by k by t, so this is just a repetition, and this is 1 upon t, a factor that comes in. So this relationship we had arrived before. Okay, so we are not going to discuss again over here the process by which we arrived it. So please refer back to that. But we shall be using this relation here. Now, if Hn is HCNT, so what do we mean? So we had HCT, and this HCT we take samples at interval of capital T. Okay, so these samples, whatever you get, if same as Hn, in other way speaking, the impulse response that you get, an impulse response there that you get, so each sampled version is invariant, is same as this one. Okay, then what happens? So in that case, this h e to the power j omega, just following this relationship, will be this one. Okay. And since we have already considered that hc j omega is 0 beyond pi by t, capital omega pi by t, that is f greater than fs by 2. So this particular relationship, the higher values are not considered. So h e to the power j omega is nothing but 1 upon t hc j omega by t. The other values are not considered. So h e to the power j omega is hc j omega by t within this range, mod omega less than pi. Okay. Right. Now this will occur. This is what we desire to be, because omega by t is capital omega, but for the factor of 1 upon t. So this will occur if you take Hn t times HCNT, not just HCNT, the way we had started. So if we take Hn as t times HCNT, t is whatever the sampling period that we shall be using for the corresponding equivalent digital signal processing system, then we can see that this and this, the whole thing will be equivalent with a simple mapping of HCT and Hn through impulse invariance, and each of these impulses over that you get at interval of capital T scaled by a value that is capital T. So scaled sampled version of HCT, that is what you see here, that will give us an impulse invariant version of the continuous time system that you want to realize using digital signal processing system. Okay. So this is an important understanding or relationship that we can use, and there are other methods also for this conversion that we shall discuss later. If anyone has any difficulty in understanding, first of all, how we have formulated the problem, we want to realize this using this. We know HCT and corresponding HCG omega, and of course this is band limited. Okay. Then what will be the HN? What will be the HN? One method is, of course, by whatever we have gone by derivation, integration by parts, etc., etc. That also you can follow. Otherwise, the other method could be you take HCT, take its samples, okay, at capital T intervals, multiply by each of the multiply them by capital T, right? And using that as HN, you realize it. So that HN will be convolving the Xn over here to generate Yn, and the rest of the story is similar to whatever we have done before: reconstruction filter, pulse train generator, and all. Okay. Now, if this HCT is, not finite, I mean, it will continue to infinity or so. It is also supposed to continue to infinity, so you'll be truncating it, then there will be issues. Okay, so that issue is there otherwise also, and for which there will be less than perfect. But if it is within toleration, within the error that you can accommodate, accept, you are fine. Is it understood? Anyone has any question? Can I get the audio response? This is the relationship where we are looking for equivalence between these two. Any quick response, please?
It's clear, sir.
Clear. Very good. Very good. If anyone has doubt, please feel free. And if you have any rejoin or anything you want to discuss, that you can mail also later on. So we shall end this class just with one example. So this is your HC j omega, okay, which is a low pass filter, of course, ideal low pass filter that you can see. Anything beyond capital omega C, capital omega is the analog frequency, is 0, attenuated fully, and otherwise the signal is passed as it is. Now, if you do its inverse Fourier transform, this we have been doing for quite some time now, these low pass filter type, then you'll get HCT like this. Then the equivalent DSP system that you want to realize, and you are looking for impulse invariance method applied, this HN will be T times HCNT. So T times this value, so this is sampled version, so HCNT, so this will be NT and this will be NT, so that is what you see over here. Now capital omega C into T is your omega C, small omega C, okay, and this T cancels, so pi n, so sin omega C n by pi n. Now if you look at the Fourier transform of this, or inverse Fourier transform of h to the power j omega, which is a low pass filter with cutoff frequency small omega c, you'll see that this is same as this one. Okay. So this is nothing but after the reconstruction filter, pulse train, etc., we'll give you this particular a continuous time equivalent system. Okay. So challenge will be, of course, it is extended to infinity. So you'll be, and also realizability, the causal part of it. So you'll be shifting it to the right, and also you'll take finite number for which there will be some error. Okay. So we stop here, right? Any question? So you look at some examples, and this Thursday I told TAs to show you the class test 1 copies, discuss solution, take your feedback and all. So let us see whether, so there will be, since the material that I covered is relatively less, so I asked them to complete the class test 1 evaluation part. Okay. And those who joined the class from the beginning, so you might have noted that for this week only, we shall have a compensatory class on Saturday at 11 a.m. Okay. So kindly cooperate, and I know that I'm taking into your personal time, but because of some issues. Okay. So 114 now attendance. So those who have already committed the weekend for some other reason also, I mean, attendance is not an issue. Never I have told you that attendance is a big factor, because the recording are there, you can go through it. But if you join, you can place any question at that time if you have failed to understand certain things. Okay. So with this we stop here.